at another episode of The Shift, and we're going to continue our conversation on violence, specifically teen violence. And I have a wonderful guest here today. We have Rodney, and a special guest here today is going to talk to us today and share with us some of his experiences and maybe try and help decrease some of the violence in our schools and in our neighborhoods and our communities, and help speak to the young people. And we have wonderful young people here that can speak to you and ask you questions, and hopefully you can give them some guidance and some expertise and some help in reference to direction, because so many of our students are headed in the wrong direction, and so many teens are so upset. They have so much pent up anger, and then it just becomes violence. You know, they always go towards violent tendencies. They always think that violence is the solution to solve all problems. You know, if they have beef, I guess you say, with each other, right? They want to solve it with violence. Would y'all say that's the deal? Mm-hmm. So you can introduce yourself and tell us some of your experiences, some of your thoughts, and just give us some information about you and what you would like to share with us today.
Okay, my name is Marcus Wade. Mm-hmm. I caught a second-degree murder charge when I was 18. Seen a lot of violence in my life. Mm-hmm. Spent a lot of time in the penitentiary. I stayed there 20 years, from 18 to 38.
Wow. So at 18 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
You went to prison at 18 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was for murder.
Yes, ma'am.
So looking back from today to 18, just tell me, I mean, as a man, I'm sure you've grown mentally and physically as a man. What can you say? And if you guys have anything you would like to ask him, you can ask Marcus. Tell me, I know you would say I would not have done what I did, but just your mental thought. How have you grown mentally, thinking as an 18-year-old to have committed this crime to now? Some things that you should have known then at 18 that you didn't know. Share that with us.
I mean, as they say, you know, when as a child, you think as a child. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So by me being in the penitentiary, it helped me to grow up. It helped to understand that life is hard. Mm. Decisions that you make in life, you pay for them, whether here or the afterlife. Mm. But you must try to make the smart decision. And a second or a minute of anger could cost you 20 years, could cost you your life.
Wow.
Wow.
A second or a minute of anger.
Could cost
just
you.
that split decision. What do you think about that, Kadaria? Because what he's saying is that just that 1 second of not thinking, you could have paused at that one time and say, I'm not going to do this because there's going to be a consequence. That's what that was deep what you just said. Just that second of anger can cost you 20 years of your life. So what do you think about? You're a young man. You lived a life now. I mean, he was a young man once. He's still young, but it's different time now between now and when he was 18. You said that earlier. Times have changed so much. Right. So what do you think about that?
Well, I honestly think, like, just like you said, there are consequences to your actions. And as young teens, I don't think most of us, we really don't think about that. We just think, you know, we don't think towards the future. We don't think about our consequences. They just think everything they do now, they can easily get away with it. But, you know, just like he said, every second that can cost you what, 20 years right there. You don't even think about that. Mm-hmm. That's why I think it's important for all of us to think about our consequences, either here or either in the afterlife, just like you mentioned there before. Mm-hmm.
So as a young man at 18 years old, I guess, would you say now that you didn't think about the consequences at that time?
I figured that I would get away.
And do a lot of young people today, Lauren, do you think they can do things, oh, nothing's going to happen, I won't get caught, or they won't worry about it, or they'll forget about it? What do you think?
Most definitely. Just like from experience with my friends in general, like they think that they're getting away with all the stuff that they're doing, but they keep doing the same thing. So it's like eventually one day something's going to happen.
Well, do you think that's a part of the system? You see what I'm saying? Because we have so many murders in the community and in our neighborhoods, and it seems like no one's being held accountable for these actions. Sometimes people get caught, but a lot of times people don't get caught. and there's no justice served. So maybe is it a part of the community or law enforcement or government? Do they have a part in this responsibility of like not holding those people accountable for what they've done? And that makes them think, oh, well, guess what? I won't get caught. I can kill him, I can kill her, or I can rob him, I can rob her. Nobody's going to think about that. What do you think?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, it's part of being a product of our environment. There's have and have-nots. Some have to do things in order to make it by, to make it through life, and some don't. Even though some of those still make mistakes and do things that they shouldn't do either. But when you're back against a wall, you had no other choice sometimes, or you feel you had no other choice. It's always another choice, but
But you feel like.
you take the easier choice instead of going the hard road.
Oh, now that's so. Let me try to understand what you're saying. Is that sometimes when people's back against the wall, they have no other choice, and so they decide to take the easier choice, even if that means to commit a crime, in order to survive in that environment. That's what they need to do. Do you think that that's it?
I agree.
Yeah,
And then
sometimes.
they just keep doing it because I honestly don't think the law enforcement, not putting enough effort. If you report something, okay, they're gonna do something about it, but they don't do enough.
So
That's a great thing you just said, because take my case for instance. There was a fight. My cousin got jumped. I was protecting my family, my viewpoint of my charge. So my cousin got jumped. They called the police. The police said, we didn't see this. We can't do nothing about it.
Exactly.
They come back the next day. They shoot in the house. They call the police. Oh, we didn't see it. We can't do nothing about it. So in my mind, how long or who am I going to have to lose before somebody do something about it?
that makes sense.
And
So
I
you're
took-
saying, go ahead.
I took I was put in the same predicament.
So you were defending your family member. So there was a fight, and the authorities did nothing about it. So you're thinking, if I don't stand up and do something about this, it could happen again. Or even worse could happen. So I'm going to defend my family and myself.
They came and shot the next day. Police did nothing about it.
That's exactly what I was, put into. Me and my brother got jumped. I would call the police. They didn't do nothing about it. Just let it go. Next day they come by, threatening, and catch us in a bad place at the park. Still don't do nothing about it.
Okay, so but let me bring this up. What about the police saying, okay, well then if I show up and I put this other person in handcuffs, and then their family member is going to say, oh, well, that's some sort of police brutality, or the police are just targeting us in our neighborhood. You see what I'm saying? I'm just playing like the devil's advocate here.
They kinda
and
do.
say,
I mean, they kind of do, like, in some circumstances, because look, like, I know, like, from Laverne police officers, they're, like, from what I see, they're always focused on the wrong thing. Instead of being on the street, taking care of traffic, or looking at real problems, you'll see them always going around, like, looking for something. It's always seeming like they're looking for something. And I remember this one time on Halloween with my brother. My brother, he's mixed, and all his other friends, and he had one white friend. And I guess on Halloween, his white friend, like, threw a piece of candy, and it hit a cop in the back of the head. All of his friends got handcuffed except for the kid that threw the piece of candy. And so in that circumstance, they did not even do enough like research or enough like investigating to see who threw it. He didn't even bother to ask. They let him go and handcuffed all the other boys.
oh, okay, so I understand, and I do understand. I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate. I know there are good cops and there are bad cops. I do understand, and I agree with you on that. But what I'm saying is that if you would have called, and I'm just saying, if you would have called the police and said, listen, these people, they jumped my brother. I want you to go handcuff him and take him in custody because I feel he's a threat to my family. And so that young man's parents may have said, well, why are you coming here? That's kind of like discrimination. It's kind of like you're bullying my son. You're trying to take him in custody because you said that he jumped him. You see what I'm saying? And like, what I'm trying to get to is that sometimes we want authorities to jump in and to kind of settle things, but then when they do, it could escalate to another situation. Now, they should have done something. They absolutely should have. But then I've also known of times when people say, oh, well, you're always in our community. The police, the presence is always in our community. But you can't want them in the community when there's something wrong, and then not want them because they're arresting your son. You see what I'm saying? And that's the problem that I hear a lot of times people say. What do you think about that?
I understand, but every officer is hired to protect and serve.
Absolutely.
Not to stereotype, not to get away with murder, as they've been doing here lately.
Absolutely, yes,
Probably
they have.
before, cell phones been catching it.
And this isn't just started. This has been happening. Cell phones been catching it. Cell phones have been technology, like you said. But like you said, officers are to protect and serve. That is their responsibility. That's supposed to be their call of duty. But if you don't have the officers to protect and serve, who should step in the community to protect and serve and to teach the younger generation what to do and what not to do? Then whose responsibility is it then? Because we can't leave it all up to the officers because we see what's going on. They are stereotyping. They are killing more and more African Americans versus other, races of people. So who should step in next then?
Well, in that case, he did the right thing.
What do you mean?
Well, he felt like he had to put an end to it. Somebody could have died the day they sent shots through the house,
Very true. But see, what you're saying that he did the right thing by stepping in, but do you think you did the right thing?
No, ma'am. I mean, there was other ways to get to the bottom of the situation. I mean, it shouldn't have never happened, but maybe my cousin could have moved. Maybe he could have relocated to a different place. I don't know what he did to these people to anger them. I still don't know to this day.
Wow.
People just don't come shoot and beat people up for no reason, usually. Now, some do. But I don't know the circumstance or the situation that he was in. Yet, it's my blood. So before mine get hurt, somebody else was gonna get hurt. Shouldn't have been my mind frame. Shouldn't have been my thinking. I should have tried to talk him out of the situation, man, come back to Murfreesboro. Come back home, get away from him. Stay away from around him.
Wow. That's serious what you just said.
And back to the point you were saying about what do we need to do, as the old folks would say, it takes a village.
Absolutely.
You do something up the street, you're gonna get 4 or 5 buttons.
Absolutely.
You get to your house to get your other buttons.
That's how it used to be. But unfortunately, it's no longer that way. Because today it's like, oh, you said something to my child? Oh, you're not my child's parent. And then the parent wants to get into an altercation with another parent. But what you said was very, very profound. That shouldn't have been your way of thinking. And you learned that. So now you are to teach him, because he just said maybe you did the right thing, but you just let him know,
maybe he felt like he did.
Yeah, but
the right
like
thing.
he just said, he didn't. You see what I'm saying? So now you have to teach this younger generation, just because you feel like doing something right then, that may not be the best thing to do. You need to step back and think. My action there's gonna be a consequence. And I may have to pay a price that's dear for what's getting ready to happen. You see what I'm saying? Because we do a lot of things in anger.
If you take time out, take a few minutes to think about it 7 times, you'll usually come out with the right decision.
7 times. You ever been mad enough to want to kill somebody?
I mean, I ain't gonna do it regardless.
But have you ever been that upset?
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure we all have,
Sure. To retaliate in a way that maybe makes no sense. And if you had done what you thought about doing, the outcome would have been severe. You see what I'm saying? What you want to add, Rodney?
I feel like that somebody needs to step up and teach us, and because one thing that we can do can fall back, and our past can come back and catch up to us, and something bad might happen.
Okay.
Like you could end up in getting life for stealing a pack of batteries or something like that.
So it's up to the older generation, this young man right here, me, you could teach the younger, each one teach one, each one reach one, each one teach one. You know what I'm saying? There's not enough teaching going on in the community today. There's not enough talking going on in the community. People don't talk to young people like you guys anymore. You know what I mean? Honestly, how do you feel? What do you think? What's your opinion? Do you think maybe the parents let you down? The community let you down? What do you think?
For the most part.
Most don't think about violence. They don't think about the lower income communities until the violence hits their doorstep. Then they want to speak out. Then they want to stop the violence. As long as it stays in one community away from them,
It's okay.
it's okay.
But see, it don't stay in the community. That's the problem. see,
Exactly.
see the problem. See, violence doesn't know barriers or boundaries. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I try to tell people all the time. And this is one of my reasons for this show. If you don't get out and talk to these young people, the violence isn't going to stay just in the hood. Let's be for real. You understand? Because these people, they're going to survive anyway by any means necessary. It's not going to stay in the hood. It's going to branch out to the Walmarts, the Targets, the mall, Green Hills, the more affluent areas. And so you have to speak and not worry about, oh, well, it'll stay in the poor areas. We aren't going to worry about it. It's just, it can't. That doesn't make sense to even think like that. And look what we have now. You know what I mean? We have chaos within our communities, in schools. Even when they go shoot up schools, oh, well, they only do that in the Caucasian school. See, it's still violence. It doesn't matter if you're killing one person or if you're spraying a whole room. It's still violence. It's a mindset that we need to change to these young people. These young people are angry. They're upset.
We came to a generation that glorified violence.
Now, how do you think we got there? Now he's been away for 20 years. He's been away for 20 years. He hasn't been in general population, correct? He's been in prison for 20 years. I'm saying you haven't been, 20 years. So how can you say we have a generation now that glorifies violence? And you haven't even been out here, and what you're saying is so true. Now, how can you say that? You've been locked away for 20 years, and still yet you can see that we now have a generation that glorifies violence. How can you say that? How can you see this?
As they say, it's not cool to be square. It's not cool to go to work, take care of your family. That's not cool. You got to be a thug. You got to stand on the block. That's the only way you're straight.
Gotta give respect.
Like we said last
Respect.
week.
Yeah. But the person that needs respect is the man going to work every day, coming home to his wife, girlfriend, kids, taking care of them the right way.
So we're respecting the wrong things. So we're respecting the thug. We're respecting the person that has 2 or 3, what do you call it, those teardrops or whatever they have or something, I don't know, like gang violence. We respect the one that's going out killing people. We respect the one that's walking around with, I don't know, just glorified violence. How did it get to this?
And even as far as gangs and organizations, they took that away from how the beginning was.
What do you mean?
Every organization or gang was formed, if the kids do their history, to protect the community, not to feed off the community.
Wow. Did y'all know that?
I did, actually. My dad, my dad basically was like affiliated with that type of stuff whenever he was younger.
Okay.
And like he was teaching me stuff so I won't get in trouble later on in life, so I'll be ready for life, period.
So you're saying the gangs initially were formed to get into that a little bit more, because you're teaching me something now.
Every organization or gang was formed to protect the neighborhood, to take care of the old, to take care of the sick, to take care of the, as they say, orphans or the youth, to keep violence out of the neighborhood. But as time grew, different drugs, different activities went on, they started being a vulture to the neighborhood.
Did y'all know about this?
Now it's territory to
Yes.
sell our drugs. You can't come over here because you are not part of this organization.
Wow. So initially gangs were to protect the neighborhood, and then there was a drastic turn when drugs and these things came into the community. And then they became the vultures. I like that you said that. Then they became the vultures. What do y'all think? The vultures. That's serious. Then they became the vultures. Vultures eat dead things. Y'all know what a vulture does?
Yeah.
And see, when you're dead is when you're considered of no value in a community. You understand?
Yeah, that goes on the people who do them, but you got people who don't think about what they do to other people and they sell them, and they're not doing them, but they're just worried about making their money, but they don't think about what violence is causing and what it's doing to the people who are doing them. Because
Well, that's what a vulture does. See, a vulture preys on each thing that are dead. So when somebody considers you dead, you're not of value. You understand what I'm saying? You're expendable. Meaning you can live today or die, it don't matter. You're dead. You understand? So if they became vultures, they're feeding on things that they don't think have value. You can't have value for someone to walk up to you and put a gun in your face and blow you. How can that person think that you have value? They can't. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that mind, something switched. And you said there's some drugs coming into the community, and now they glorify having money. having things. That would get that you respected then if you have money or if you have things.
Or better clothes than somebody, or better shoes,
Better
stuff like
clothes,
that,
better shoes,
jewelry or something
yeah.
like that.
But they don't understand. But they teaching children the wrong thing because everything they have they wear, and if that's taken off of them, they have no value. You see what I'm saying? So that's like a false sense of having value. That's really no value.
We're teaching succeeding in the wrong way. We're teaching it how, well, like where it's coming off in like socially, it's like you gotta have this to be at this ranking, but really we need to just teach it as you need to do what can help you out in life, but what's making you happy. Don't do what's not making you happy, but do what's gonna do better for yourself, help you succeed in life, and have like a fulfilling way,
What does it mean to be a Kadaria, what does it mean to you to be a man of value?
She mean basically, oh, I sell drugs. I'm worth this much. Oh, I caught a body. I'm worth this much. And with that comes respect. And you just basically climbing that period. That pyramid.
But for you personally, what does it mean to have value?
To be, worth something. To, have a reason to live for.
What is the reason you live for?
For God and my family. That's the only thing.
Okay, and what does it mean for? For you, what does it mean to be? What can you tell him as a young man? You've lived twice his life. What does he need? What does he need to embrace to have value as a young man and to make it and be successful?
To be honest, loyal, that will get you respect. I mean, to be underhanded, sneaky, anything that you would do in the dark is no good. Why would you hide it? If I can't do it in the light in front of you, I shouldn't do it.
So because I think value today, respect today is completely, the table's been turned.
Backwards.
It seems like everything that is wrong is seen as right today. Everything that's wrong is now right. And if it's right, and if you're doing right, like you said, you're a hardworking man, you work at, I don't care, you can work at Publix, bagging grocery, but you're taking care of your family, you love your family, you're doing right. No one respects that.
Square.
You're a square. So everything that's wrong now is being seen as right. So something happened, something turned, something, changed.
As you said, or as the brother brought up earlier, if you don't have Jordans and you live in a poor community, no one around you have money. Everybody's struggling, but if you don't have Jordans, I got to go get Jordans. If I don't, I'm gonna be bullied, I'm gonna be picked on, talked about. Makes me don't want to go to school. Exactly. So if I don't go to school, I don't learn. I can't further my education. I can't further my job opportunities because I'm ashamed to go around these people.
And it's like that?
Yes, it really is. All my middle school year, and then like some of the beginning year of high school, basically.
So you were picked on because you don't have the best shoes, or
Yes.
and you're talked about because you don't have the best clothes or whatever. Yes. And so how did you get over that? How did you get over that hump? How did you?
I got over that hump by basically like, I chose to do like after school activities like football and stuff, and like that stuff I was good in, so people respect me. Like whenever I hit somebody and make them fumble the ball and they're just still laying there, they respect me because basically they fear me. But like.
So you got your respect in other avenues. You found a way to get your respect, and that's by being a good football player. And you feel like you got some respect in that area that took care of the other areas you may not have had. But what about that child that is not a good football player? You see what I'm saying? It has no ability.
There's different ways you could do that.
What do you mean?
When I was in middle school, they used to, my socks cost more than your outfit. Just say stuff like that. But the way I look at it now, I had to change my mind, my mentality. I had to think in a way, okay, in the long run, guess who's going to be doing better? Because...
But how did you get to think that way? How did you know to think that way?
My dad taught me that way. He changed my whole mindset.
So your parents?
Yeah, parents, and then like also going through a struggle, because like I respect things more that I got, like my car and things like that. I respect it because I work for it. And most kids that in my grade, everything's just handed to them. Like their parents pay for their cars. They have no bills they have to pay. And I'm just like, it's not like that. Like, not everything's just handed to everybody. And, I just know I might stress a little bit more right now, but it's going to benefit me later in the long run because I'm going to know what to do whenever I'm in, like, a knot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can have a better car than me, but look at here. This how I think of you paying a car note. My stuff paid off. You know what I'm saying? So in the long run,
I'm bare to have money to pay for my
exactly.
own car.
Exactly. That's how I look at it.
At least I work for this.
Exactly. I did this myself. I didn't get no handouts. That's what people respect. I see now people noticing that stuff. Now they're starting to respect that a little more.
Okay. Well, we're going to take one break and be right back in a moment. And we're back. We have Brandon here. Hey, Brandon.
How y'all doing?
I was waiting for you. Listen, so we're talking to Marcus, and wow, Marcus, you hit me with some serious stuff. You know what I mean? And he spent 20 years in prison for a crime that he committed at 18 years old. And I said, that's a long time. But, I'm the type of person I always think, even though we go through trials, there's always a lesson to learn. And sometimes God, God is all time. You know what I mean? And things like that, sometimes it happens, it's bad, but you can turn something bad into something good to help so many different children out here that are lost. They're lost and they need somebody to talk to, someone that's been there, because you've been there. I haven't been there. I've been an educator for 20 years, but you've been 20 years to think, and 20 years to see where it went wrong, and 20 years to help somebody not go that way. Because these children are angry. We lost a dear friend of ours in May. Someone killed him. It was unexpected and it hurt. And I know some of these children want to retaliate, right, Brandon? They were mad. They wanted to get back. They were upset, an eye for an eye. You know what I mean? You killed my friend, so guess what? Maybe someone should do the same thing to you. And thankfully they didn't do that way, and we decided to turn this into something positive. And Brandon, we talked about violence, and here's you sitting next to a man here. He said a split-second decision cost him 20 years of his life. Brandon's just came on, so you can tell him a little bit about yourself, and then you two can talk about it.
All right. At the age of 18, I got locked up for second-degree murder. Spent 20 years in prison. And as you were saying earlier, it may sound strange, but I appreciate them 20 years. Yeah. Because the road I was going down before, I would have ended up dead or with life. So within them 20 years, I had time to reflect, think, and change my way of living, change my lifestyle.
So you think that 20 years might have spared your life?
I don't call prison. It's an institution.
Okay.
It's somewhere where you go to learn, rehabilitate, and grow your mind. As I said, I went in as a child. I came out as a man.
Wow.
I don't respect anybody that does anything underhanded or devious. I want to live my life right. I want to live my life honest, be respected by my kids, my wife, the community. I don't like it if someone has a negative thing to say about me. And I view negativity as being, as they say, a thug.
A thug.
Oh man, he cool because he killed somebody. No, that's not cool. I took a life. Something I can't get back.
And do you often think about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yeah, I often thought, even in prison, about, on Mother's Day, sending his mom,
wow,
a Mother's Day gift. She don't have a son to send her a Mother's Day gift.
And see, I often thought myself, these children that do this, that kill other children, or do they ever think, like the hurt that they're causing other people? But he said that he does.
No.
He said he's had
In the
time to
moment,
think about it.
Them people with that mindset and that are really like in for it, they have like such a selfish mindset. It's like, you did this to me or you harmed my people, like they're gonna come for whoever. They don't care. Some people don't even care what they do to the other people's family. Like, it is what it is.
But see, you can't see. But he's saying that he's done this, okay? And he's saying that yes, he does think about it. I'm sure
But
there's
was
some
it-
people that may not.
Was it a
not.
thought in
Not
that
at the
moment?
moment.
Yeah.
Well, not at the moment, no, but he's had time.
Yeah.
Trust me, time
That-
now
yeah, you
to
gonna
think about it.
that at
You
that
know what I
time.
mean?
Yeah, it's like when time comes, yes, but in the moment, when you're young, you just be turned up and all, just ready to do things, and you don't really think about in what's next after that. So I think that's why, time. He really sat there and thought, man, I really just took somebody's life. Like, oh my goodness.
If you wouldn't have had, like, if you wouldn't have had that time to yourself to just think, like, do you think you would have even thought about that? Like, if you would have got away with it?
If I
Maybe-
would have got away, I would have been worse.
Wow.
Way worse.
So if you would have gotten away with it, you're saying your mindset would have been even worse. So your mindset might have been, well, guess what? The next person that does something to me, he's going to get the same thing too. Could have been. So, and maybe that's what's going on now. Because see, now that's when we come back to the government and the community and the officials, the police officers, the judges, the lawyers, the prosecutors. Now, this is when their responsibility comes in. You see what I'm saying? Because now you have this person that committed this crime. He has not been charged. He is not. He's gotten away with it. So you're saying his mindset is now, well, whatever, whoever's next.
This is how I view the officers now. They are doing what they are doing. I often tell people, I did what I did. 3 days later, I was locked up. These police are out here killing people, committing murder. But they don't get locked up. I know they say innocent until proven guilty, but they lock me up.
And it's easier for them to hide their evidence.
But yeah, and I go ahead.
So you telling me like that they don't get locked up inside they knew that they did wrong, and it's gonna, it's gonna come back to them.
I mean, it was an investigation on me. No one really knew that I did this for sure, other than word of mouth. As far as the officers, we have videotape. We have proof that you shot this man in the back. Why come you don't go through the same circumstance and situation that I went through? Go through booking, make bond, go through the courts. Let 12 jurors decide your fate. Instead, nothing is done. Therefore, the next police do the same thing.
Exactly.
They get a desk job or leave without pay or something like this. You committed murder. Same thing I did.
They just gotta,
A badge.
Yeah, well, we're definitely, we can definitely talk about police brutality. That's what we're talking about. And how some officers get away with homicide.
It's not just the community
And-
that's committing all the violence.
Yes. But mainly, I want to just stay like focused on violence in our community. Children killing children on the street. You see what I'm saying? Because I think there are more homicides that are being committed, children killing children, than police killing children. Believe it. I mean, than police killing people. You know what I mean? 2017, I think Nashville had the worst year of homicide. Teens killing teens. You know what I mean? And so we need to stop this. You see what I'm saying? Because if you kind of look at, like, if you kill each other, then why are you worried about if I kill you too? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you don't respect each other in your community, if you don't respect your own communities, if you don't respect each other as teens, then why put the spotlight on me? You see what I'm saying? When you're killing each other, you see what I'm saying? I see, they have these rallies. Oh, my son was murdered, and they start marching, and I understand that. But what about before we get to that point? What about when you know your child is out there living this kind of life? You know your child is out there selling drugs. You know your child hustling. You see what I'm saying? Let's not just rally when someone's been murdered. Let's rally this before we get to that point. Yeah, and I understand the mother that's hurt, her child's been shot and killed, but you know the type of child your life is living before it gets to that point. You see what I'm saying? I want to stop it before we get there. You see, you can't reap the benefits, but then don't want to pay the cost. You see what I'm saying? You can't reap the benefits. You know your son's not working. You know he shouldn't be bringing you $10,000, $20,000 every weekend. You know something's going wrong. But as soon as something happens, there's a rally in the neighborhood. But we got to get before the rally. You see, and as parents, the parents must step up and say, no, this is not right. Just like you're going to raise your children. You're going to teach because you've been through it. So you've got something to raise and tell them, listen, no, this is not the way you want to go. You don't want to make this decision. And it's not all on the parent. This is a big problem that trickles down. Now, I understand that too. But the people have to get together. And as a parent, I blame some of this on the parents for not teaching the children right from wrong.
And some are not able to be in the house to teach them.
True.
They have to
True.
work.
They have to
Or,
work.
or a single parent.
A single parent.
Because I've noticed that, like, within my mom, because, see, she used to be the type of parent, she didn't work as much. She always hovered over me, made sure, you're in the house by this time, like, talking to me, knowing what I'm doing. And now that, like, she's doing more, like, going to school and doing all the extra stuff, it's like she's not around, and my little sister is not getting what I've gotten, and I can tell that she's being more reckless than what I was and what my siblings were.
So are both of your parents in the home?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are both of your parents in the home?
Yes, but like I said, my stepdad.
Okay.
But before my stepdad came in, I would probably been the same way. You never know. He gave me that mentality.
Both of your parents in the home? No, just your mother.
Mm-hmm.
So were both of your parents in the home?
Oh, you're talking about like way back before?
Well, in the home raising you as a child.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, not as a child.
My parents were divorced.
Okay, but was there someone in the home teaching you right from wrong?
No, my mother was really at work all the time.
Okay. So how'd you learn right from wrong?
Experience. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Until, just experience.
Because when you said that, parents have to work today, they really can't spend the time like they used to, mentoring children and putting values and stuff in the children. But as a parent, I'm going to say you still have to do it.
Make time.
You still have to make time. You see what I'm saying? Because for teenagers to be this out of control, there had to be a breakdown somewhere. You see what I'm saying?
These days, kids are raising kids.
That's what I'm saying. You can't have parents who still want to go out and party. You're partying with the kids. You're doing the things that you can't do that. There has to be a separation.
Parents are okay
with the
with it.
parent, and if the parent's okay, oh, well, I'm okay. You go ahead and hang out. You go to the party every night. Oh, I'm okay, Kadarian. You do what you want to do. Then there's no governance in the home. You see what I'm saying? So even if I have to work 9 to 5, I'm still gonna teach my child. I tell you what, at 9 o'clock, you go to bed and don't go out this house, because see, there is such a thing as fear and respect going hand in hand.
And then you got the parents that are always like, oh, they're just being a kid, but they're saying that about a 13, 12-year-old instead of saying that about a teenager. Like saying like this kid, they can be out till 10 o'clock at night and be 12 years old. And I see that a lot. Like my sister always talks about, oh, my friends get to do this and my friend gets to do that. And I'm like, well, their parents don't care about them or not enough to raise them right.
Because, go ahead.
And another thing, I take back what I said. I couldn't remember. She has. Never mind. But, and another thing, what I, was starting to see more now is, kids are just like, their abilities is so free, like they have age, like they're 20 or something. And they're letting their, boyfriends and girlfriends come in the house and all that stuff. Like it's spending the night, and I'm sitting here like, what happened to the respect of, even coming over to the house?
But that's what I'm saying, respect. You see what I'm saying? So parents, I understand that parents have to work to provide, but you still have to be the head of the household. And for teens to be so angry today, these children are so angry. They're upset. They're mad because they don't have this. They're mad because they don't have that. But where did we as adults, where did we not teach value to children? You see what I'm saying? Where did we not teach value to our children? Where did we not say, well, guess what? You're still valuable if you don't have the Jordans, okay? Because you have or you're still valuable if you aren't the prettiest girl in school. You see what I'm saying? So even though if I have to work, you can't have a village without parents raising their children. There is no village. You know what I mean? Then you have children raising children. So I agree, it does take a village, but someone has to be the parent, and then someone has to teach the younger. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's why you're here to teach and say, listen, young man, you don't want to do that because you don't want to pay the price that I paid. And that's what a parent guides. Just having a child doesn't make you a parent. A parent guides, and a parent molds, and a parent teaches. So as adults, something happened. There was a breakdown in this communication where I'm the parent, you're the child, and this is what you're going to do. You're not going to do what you want to do. You're going to do as I say do, and I'm going to lead by what? Example. See, a lot of parents want to say, well, you're going to do what I say do. Well, Mom, guess what? I see you doing this and this. So now there's a breakdown right there in the house right there. I'm not going to do as I say and not as I do. So who came up with that rule? That makes no sense, because I'm going to copy what I see going on in the home. You see what I'm saying? So teens being angry, I'm not going to just put it on teens. And I'm not going to say it's all their fault, because somewhere as adults, we messed up. We dropped the ball somewhere because they're children.
They emulate and imitate us.
Got that right? Say it again.
They emulate and
Imitate us. Okay? And then you can't say, well, I don't know where she got that from. Oh, you absolutely do. Okay? Because, because she was raised under your care. So you can't tell me I don't know where she got that from. You're not going to sit there and tell me this. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not going to blame it just on teens for being so violent, because somewhere we didn't teach. And I'm not saying you got one or two will fall through the cracks. Absolutely. You can have a mother that taught her child the very best. In some way, she went astray. I understand that completely, but that's not the majority. Most of the children in the poor communities, in the community, the hood, if you look at most of their parents are absent. That's why I said how many had moms and dads in the house. You know what I mean? Especially men, especially young men, had a man you can say, that was my dad. He taught me. He said, yo, or a woman that taught her daughter, listen, you don't do that. Respect. We're not going to do that. You know what I mean? You're going to respect yourself.
Because, I can speak on experience, like, not having a dad can affect, like, how you, like, being a female, like, how you act and how you respect yourself, because, you don't feel that love from a male, so you're going to seek it from another male.
That's a whole nother show right there. Now, that's a good show right there. Absolutely. And you, like you said, you had your stepdad that stepped in and said, listen, we're going to get this right. Am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, and you had?
The same. I got to see both of my parents, but it was kind of hard for me to, respect him. I always give him his respect. I never disrespected him at all. It's hard for me to give him his respect if, he's not doing what he's supposed to do as a father. Like, if you want to sit on your tail all day and be broke, think of what example that is setting for me. Like, that's putting that in me for when I get older. That's that's creating a generational cycle.
Ugh.
And that's going to make me want to sit on my tail. And then that's when the other stuff occurs. You just like your father, blah, blah, this, blah, 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 that. But then thankfully, God blessed me with a stepfather that's showing me the right way.
You see? Yeah. So see, that's wonderful. So you had a man that step in and say, guess what? This is the way that we're going to do this. So I can't blame just the teens, to saying, oh, y'all doing this on your own. Because some way, anger comes from anger.
And it was taught.
They had to see this behavior somewhere. Oh, it's okay to go out here and shoot this child. Oh, it's okay to rob her. She'll be all right. They've seen that it's okay to do this. So my question is, who was not there to say, nah, it's not okay for you to do this? Or that, nah, if you go to jail this time, guess what? You're going to stay. So go to jail, and I'm going to show you you're going to stay in prison, because I'm not bailing you out. You see, what do you think?
Sometimes that's what it takes.
And sometimes that's exactly, because when I was growing up, my mom and dad told me, you go to jail, I'm not bailing you out. I'm going to tell you that now. So don't even call me. And I know they meant that from the bottom of their heart. So I said, I won't be going to jail because I don't want to stay in jail. You know what I'm saying? And then they put the fear of God in me. You know what I'm saying? To say, whatever you do, it's going to be seen. Don't think you can do anything and get away with it. You know what I mean? And for me, it was like, woo, woo. You know what I mean? I don't want to do this because, somebody's watching. Somebody see.
What's done in the dark should
come out in the light. You know what I mean? So that fear. And people are like, oh, well, you shouldn't fear. You shouldn't fear your parents. Yeah, because it's respect.
Exactly. That was
fear is respect. What'd you say?
That was the big two for me.
What do you mean?
The jail part, how you said, because
that's what your parents said to you?
At the end of the day, I know they're trying to help me. Me not listening, okay, they're not going to do it. because I messed up and they want me to learn the hard way while I'm still young.
So they told you the same thing. You go to jail, you
Yeah,
ain't coming out. What about
exactly.
you, Brandon?
Um, I just the God fearing. If I didn't have that in me, or they didn't, put that into me, I would probably be out here running
You think
reckless.
teens today believe in God?
Honestly, no. I mean, me, I grew up, I grew up in church a little bit, but it's just like I don't understand why they don't want to. Kids are so hard, like it's so hard for them to express themselves, and they just want to do drugs, and you can't really smoke your problems away. First of all, you just smoking your money away, really, and you're just messing yourself up. People want to drink their problems away. They want to. I don't understand where this is coming from.
Well, because people do drugs to escape reality. You understand what I'm saying? Drugs are an addiction, and people do drugs to escape whatever it is they're facing. I say all the time, the hardest person for you to discipline is you. You understand what I'm saying? And people don't want to face where they're wrong in life. They don't want to face their problems. They don't want to face what they've done and handle it and deal it. So getting high, getting drunk, that sends me to a delusional state of mind where I don't have to deal with that right then. But the reality is, guess what? The high comes back, it goes down, and the reality comes back. You know what I mean? So people don't want to deal with their problems, and they think problems just gonna it eventually go away, but they don't. You have to solve problems. You understand what I'm saying? So I asked you, I said, well, do kids today believe in God? And you said, I don't think so.
I don't think that. I think they believe in him. I just think that it's that they don't know.
They don't live by him.
They don't know. They never.
Well, how can you believe in something you don't know?
People go around. I believe in God, but
just because it's something better to believe in, that sounds better than you just dying and you're just dead. And it sounds better that you have an option to go to heaven rather than you not believing in nothing and then there's no life afterwards.
What do you think?
I believe exactly what they are saying, because if you take God out of the situation, you would have total chaos.
Oh, yeah.
If you had nothing to pay for in the afterlife,
do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
What does it matter?
I'm gonna get what I want.
And I think for today, when you said something about technology earlier, see, this generation is so used to getting things right then. You know what? If they want an answer to the question, they Google it. You know what I'm saying? If they want a meal, put in the microwave. 2 minutes, they got a meal. And so when they go to God, and they don't have an instant prayer answer, okay, you aren't there. You see what I'm saying? They want everything immediately when that's not reality.
They don't know that it takes
instant gratification. These children, these teens today, they live on instant gratification, but that's not reality. Not even, getting rich. They look at, I'm going to be a YouTuber, or I'm going to be like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, but they don't see the steps.
Time. They don't.
You know what I'm saying? They want it now. I just want it now, right now, Ms. Newman. You got to work to get there.
They don't know how long Kobe practiced.
Or how many nights he practiced, or how many times he was told no, or how many times he thought to himself, I'm not going to be good enough. You know what I mean? And they want this is because they live in a world where everything is given. So they think they're entitled to everything without working for it. So why would they believe in God if God can't instantly show up? You see what I'm saying? But that's not the reality of it. Because, when you talk about God and believing in God, and the reason I ask, because how can you do such horrible things? How can you have so much anger in you? How can you have to turn to drugs or alcohol if you say you believe in God that knows everything and who has your back?
It's not forced in the home, because I know, in my house, we're not just big, Christians. I know I believe in God, but, I'm my own person. And my mom's always said that, each and every one of her kids, they're their own persons. They believe in what they believe in. And, I took the way I'm believing in God, but I can't just say, I'm a full-on Christian. I pray every day. I go to church every Sunday, because that's not true. But I do believe that, the energy that I put into the prayers that I do say and my positivity is also, a reflection of mine.
But what about the young person that says, I got a problem.
That's the thing.
I have nobody to turn to. You know what I mean? I believe in God, but I need my problem solved right now. And for some reason, I had a student told me, he told me one time, I said, well, just pray about it. He said, Miss Newman, I pray, but I don't hear nothing back. And I said, wow. So you want to answer right now. You know what I mean?
As they say, faith without works is dead.
It's dead.
So once you get up from praying, you
got
gotta go to work.
And also,
Did you hear
like,
that?
whenever you're asking for something, you got to see what can I do to
And
get
you still
that.
got to go to work. You see, I want should be I need to work to get it. You see what I'm saying?
I had spoke to a dude in the prison, and he don't look at the word prayer as like we look at prayer. He says pray as a lion would prey on an antelope or a deer. You go at it.
Okay.
You don't sit and wait for it to come
Okay.
to you.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah, you go straight at it.
Pray and pray, go after it. That was a good one. I like that one. You have to pray and pray to go after it, to go get it. But I mean, I ask about teens and God, and it's just, for these children to be so angry and so upset, and for you to commit crimes, or like what you did at 18, if you just had a second of thought, just to say, you know what, I'm not gonna do this.
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it? Is it just worth it? Just that simple question. Is this gonna be worth my life? Just to sit and think first before you act. And here's a man that's sitting here that can, 20 years, longer than y'all been alive. You know what I'm saying? He spent 20 years. And for him to be able to sit here and be able to talk about it, to me, I think that's amazing. And that shows something for the person who you're becoming. Because for me, for 20 years, I don't know, I probably would have came out, a little bit like, like a little cuckoo. But for you to sit here and share this with these young people, that says a lot about the work that's going on in you as a man. You know what I mean? Because, for me, just looking at you, I don't think you think of 20 years lost, which is a great thing. You said you've learned. You know what I mean? And that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Just to say that I sat there 20 years and I learned. You know what I mean? I learned something there. And when you said, if I hadn't done it, I may not have been alive.
I know I wouldn't. Or I'd have been there forever.
And that's serious. What do y'all think about that?
I agree, because my neighbor, he been in prison for 12 years, and he told me how it was, it's not really a punish, it's to, better yourself, give you time to think about what you did, and, see if you can, improve on it. That's why I can understand where he's coming from and see why he's here today with us.
But also not everybody that goes into prison or that is in prison thinks like that. Like, I have a friend that just recently got arrested, and they're facing 10 years, and it's like they're not even I'm trying to be there for them and help them look at it as a positive way, think of what you can do to better yourself instead of just thinking on the negative part, I'm about to be in here for this long, that's so much of my life being thrown away. I'm just sitting here saying, well, look at what you can do in that time, what are your options, because there is no getting out of it, so you need to look at what you can do.
And then he needs to look at, it's a consequence. He has to pay for his action. You see what I'm saying? Not, I'm wasting, I'm good. No. It's a consequence.
You made a decision.
You made a decision. Now you got to pay for it. And he can tell you, as 18, if you can go back to that 18-year-old, young man that you were, and when you first heard, did you believe it? Or how did you feel when they said, well, you're going to do 20 years? Did you believe it at that time? Or were you like, oh, this will be easy? Or what were your thoughts on that?
I was thinking, they gave me 24. I did 20 on it. I didn't think I could start the first year.
Wow.
Yeah, as soon as I went in, I'm getting shanks, preparing to do whatever, to stay there for the rest of my life if need be. Because you go in feeling like you got to gain respect from everybody.
Okay.
And then me being young, 18, fresh, somebody gonna try me. And when they do, I'm gonna get them.
So you had a battle outside, now you gotta go in and fight another battle. Wow. And how did you survive, 20 years?
Just that first year.
How did you survive? How did you have to change your mind about this?
It was a blessing. I was watched by somebody because I went through classification. It was classification in MTRC in Nashville. They sent me to Hardin County, at the time the worst prison in the state, and told me that's where I deserved to go because I was a troublemaker. and I made it through that. I was proud of myself for making it through that.
Wow.
There, every day, the helicopter landing, life flighting somebody. Codes called, fights over here, gang fights over there. And I was proud to make it through that. To be able to come back out where I'm at now. A lot of people didn't make it.
Jeez. So you're in prison, and now you have to fight for your life in prison.
Yes, ma'am. You'll be tried.
What do you want to say, Brandon? You want to say something?
I mean, I'm just kind of shocked, for you to be going to the worst place, the worst prison in the state, and then make it through a whole 20 years. I mean,
I'm just
that's
proud.
fatal.
That first year.
Yeah. Well,
That
was
must've
that
been
the hardest year, the
That
first
must have
year?
been the hardest.
I mean,
And did you have to separate yourself from all that eventually?
somewhat, but you can't. You have to assume the role.
Wow.
Because any weakness, that's when that lion sees the prey. So you have to complete this action all the way till you walk out the door. Because any sign of weakness, they're going to feed on it.
And were you thinking, I'm just going to do my time and I'm going to get out and everything will be okay? Is that your thought every day to make you stronger? Or did you go to God to make yourself stronger? Like, what was your source of strength to make it through this? Like every day?
I mean, I read and, thought about the love for my family that I need to make it out, to be able to see my family, to be able to just walk and talk to you right now. I mean, the luxury of getting up in the middle of the night going to the refrigerator, walking out and seeing the stars at night, listening to crickets and frogs. You don't hear none of that. You hear dudes hollering all night.
That's serious. See, and these kids, they don't think about that. That's serious. So you said just seeing the frogs, just walking out, going to the refrigerator late at night, just walking out on the porch and say, oh, there's stars here. Or,
drive
I
up
can
the
go to the, drive up the street. And these are luxuries people don't think about before they make decisions. Because when somebody say your freedom is going to be taken away,
It's taken.
it means freedom.
You live in a bathroom.
Oh, gosh.
Toilet right here, sink right here, your bed right here.
And you're in fear for your life every day.
I guess. It depends on who you are.
Okay. Well, I mean, you had to, you know what I'm saying? But still, you see what I'm saying? But all of that you have to deal with.
I mean, anything can happen.
Wow. So I am so glad that you're here to talk to me. I mean, it's a reality that I don't think they understand that exists. And you have to do something before you make a decision. You said 1 second costs you 20 years of your life.
Ain't no I quit. Ain't no I can't do no more time. They don't care about that. You there.
Your new life. You was 18. You did 20.
20 years. 18. Y'all age. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So, something, and I think us talking about these issues and giving the reality of what it is for real, and giving teens a voice to say, they're upset, that they're hurt, and what maybe we can do to help, if it's one person, one young adult, for making a wrong decision. You see what I'm saying? It's worth it. And you never know who's gonna listen to this podcast and hear what you say and say, you know what? I'm getting ready to turn my life around. You see what I'm saying?
I pray that they could take something good from this. I pray that they can take time out and find someone that they could talk to when they need to.
Well, see, that's respect. You see, and then that's why somebody will respect you. And you may never even know that person's name. Or they may never walk up to you and say, I heard you, on the radio. I heard you on that podcast. And that's value. You see, that's real value. Not the Jordans or the clothes or what kind of car. Value is when you can help change a person's life or when you can steer that person in the right direction. That's real value. When you can help save somebody's life and turn them around, that's real value. Or like the young man said earlier, I didn't have the latest sneakers, but guess what? I could play ball. How about that? I could play ball, so that's real value. Or when you say, you know what you do, you had your own lawnmower business. You know what I'm saying? That's real value. You never know who's looking at you. Saying, oh, I want to start a lawnmower, business like Kadarian. I want to work like Brandon. You know what I mean? I want to get into the, more into the word. Like, that's value. So we have to teach each other what real value is. When you add to somebody's life, that's value, not material things that you buy. That's not valuable because those things go away. They come today and they're going tomorrow. But when you can change a person's life, now that's value. Because you taught me something today when you said about those vultures. That's something. You say these gang members, they're like vultures. And I'm thinking a vulture, vultures only eat dead things. And something dead has no value. You see what I'm saying? So it's a mentality that we have to change. We need to speak to these people and let them know y'all valuing the wrong things. You're valuing the wrong things. And I think together with each of you giving your opinions and what you're thinking is wrong, absolutely change can take place. Absolutely things can start to shift in the right direction. Right. You see what I'm saying? Amen. Because that's what has to happen. There has to be a shift. Because if not, we'll be older and they're going to be in charge. Now, I would leave these three in charge. Yes, I would leave them in charge because I know their mind, their head is on right. And they're thinking the right way. And they may stray every now and then, but they're going to reel it back in. You see what I'm saying? They're going to reel it back in and cast it out in the right area. You see? So that's what I like. Anything y'all want to add before we go? What you want to say? How we going to stop teen violence?
We're going to have to work on the way we parent, which, we're the next generation. We're going to be the ones with the next kids.
Because you'll be a parent.
Mm-hmm. So we'll go around and we'll have to take what we experienced in school and what we experience now and know what to teach, right or wrong.
Mm-hmm. Good, Aaron.
Hey, what she said, parenting, and then we got to learn to respect the right things and the things that's going to benefit us and helping us. And we got to, come to the sense of what's really valuable.
Mm-hmm. True. Brandon?
There's work to be done in every area. And, parenting, being kids, respecting their elders. I think, we should work on teaching kids the morals more, and I feel like we should be connected with the youth more because, people is dying left and right every day.
How do we connect to the youth more? Tell me how we can connect to the youth more.
If you host, talk to you, actually, ask them about the day. I know they might not come through on you the first day because, everybody's different. Mm-hmm. But, actually try to engage with the youth. Hey, you want to, what you do this weekend? Or, just engage with them. Do stuff for the youth. You have to actually put your time into the youth. So when we see you actually trying to get to us, that let us know like, oh man, they're really trying to be there for me. And that's going to cause us to open up our heart a little bit more and more every time we see you.
So we need to spend, as adults, we need to spend more time talking to you, communicating with you, trying to understand you. And to give you more of a voice and try to understand instead of just saying, oh, you do this wrong, or you do that wrong, or you shouldn't be doing that. Or we need to talk and open up that dialogue and have conversation with you.
Yes,
spend
and also
time.
Don't, give them boys, but, still don't get too soft on them. Still remain that parent role.
Absolutely.
Don't let them run over you, no type of that. But explain to them why, hey, this isn't right, let them hear out what they have to say. Mm-hmm. But then, just be like, okay, well, you can't really do that. This is what's going to happen. And I understand where you come from, but that's not going to happen.
Explain it to them.
Yes.
Explain to them. But like you said, a lot of parents don't have time, but you got to make time. Mm-hmm. If you get off at 7 in the morning, 7:15, time for us to talk. You see what I'm saying? And we're going to talk before you go to school today. What did you do today? But like you said, take out the time to talk to the youth. This is one of the reasons why we have this podcast, because I want to know, you need to tell me, give me some solutions to these problems so that I can help them. And you've definitely helped us today because, your points are just, kids hear, they need to hear this. They need to hear the truth. needed to hear from somebody that's been there. What do you want to say?
If anything, reflect on the situation before you take action.
Think before you act.
And just take a few minutes, a few seconds, and do I really want to do this? What's going to happen after I do this?
Think about the consequence. Because there is a consequence. There is a consequence, you know what I mean? So think before you act. No, that was wonderful, guys. Thank you for being here today. Lauren, you want to say anything else? No? Okay. And thank you so much for being here. I'm definitely going to have you back because, you hit some points that were great. So thank y'all for being here today. All right?
I got you.